Hi everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 Me. Today is a beautiful snowy day and the light is really intense. So I hope that this isn't too distracting in the background. I can't turn off the light. It's coming in through my window and I kind of like it, and it aligns in some ways to the topic today, which is noticing the small things. And sometimes we talk about the weather a lot and how it impacts us, and we look outside, see the clouds, or we see the sun, and we are noticing the big picture. We're getting the sunlight coming shining in through our window, and we forget the small things. Like right now, I'm looking at this really interesting kind of dust that's being illuminated by the light outside the window. You can't see it, but I can see it. It's kind of just in the air, and I'm just noticing it for the first time. It's really beautiful, but it's that kind of, we get the big picture, we see, that things are in balance or they're not, but we don't interweave into that the smaller things, the little detail. Our hearts yearn for peace and calm and balance in our lives. And where do we find those things? Well, sometimes we don't find them in the world as it is, the crazy, complicated, and sometimes divisive world that we live in. But we can see the things that are, we're noticing the small things that are simple, pure, and uplifting, joyful, even joyful. I mean, things like, for me, the laugh of a child. When my grandkids are over and they're giggling and laughing. Yesterday we had a snow fight with socks. We've had lots of snow here this week, and it's been really beautiful. But they came over, and of course they were all covered in snow, with snow shovels and snow equipment. And they came in and they were just in the mood for playing. So I had all these socks rolled up, and we decided that we'd build camps on either side of the room and throw socks at each other. And it was like a snowball fight. It was really fun. But their laughter is what I was trying to get to, as I noticed the joy. They laugh from their little hearts, and it's amazing. Things in the real world that sometimes you can notice and be impacted by. I mean, for example, just in nature, as I've mentioned, you can see, the light coming through the window, or a particular bud that's growing on a plant in the middle of winter, a little bud forcing its way out into the sun. Or, you see the colors of the changing leaves, and how fragile nature can be in its beauty. And I think noticing nature as it grows and it dies and it comes back to life is a really beautiful, just reminder of the tiny things that can bring us joy. In terms of people, I mean, the simple actions of a kind person, a compliment that you can give someone, just a little bit of attention, something you notice about them. I mean, I'm always saying to people, I mean, genuinely, oh, I really love your hat, or I love your eyes, you've got the most beautiful eyes. And I say that sometimes, and I say, you've got the most beautiful eyes, but you know that. And because they look in the mirror every day and they see their eyes. But some people have just got a feature about them which is really uniquely special if you just notice it. And I think it's at that moment where you open your heart, you say, okay, I'm going to notice that in that person. I'm going to use that as something that reinforces in me the beautiful simplicity of a relationship. We don't need to know that person. We don't need to be friends with them. We can just say to them, we're sitting on the bus, or you're getting a coffee at the cafe, and just say to someone, I really love the color of that dress you're wearing today. It suits you, and whatever. But when we pause and open our hearts, I think we discover this inner beauty that is noticing how things have their uniqueness and their joyful presence in our lives. Just sometimes letting the joy of the present moment, just noticing silence. Something about snow, actually, and I'm realizing it today, that it makes things very quiet. We've got lots of snow outside, and the cars are going by, it's kind of muted. The sounds are muted. Or if you just go out on your balcony or out into your garden, or if you don't have one, that you go just for a little walk around the block, and you listen to the sounds. They listen to the sound of the birds, or the sounds that are muted by nature. Rain. I love the sound of rain, and it just is so soothing and so refreshing and so I don't know, it's the basic. It's just like water is at the heart of everything. We are, 90% water. So it's just that kind of connection with that sound of music, noticing. As I slipped there, I said music. Music is another thing that we can use as a means of noticing. I was just listening to a program on the phone, and it was a program, a TED Talk, and it was talking about this person who plays the piano. I don't know if she's blind or not, but he just closes his eyes and just plays sounds without any script or any score, any music, just plays for hours, like, no, an hour concert, and he performs concerts, just doing this very, he talked about it as reaching a space together. And I just thought that was really, really, music can be such a gorgeous, moment. As I was closing my eyes there, I was like envisaging a scene which I know many of you can deal with, but do you notice it? And that's your pets. Animals are super, super aware of a space. They create a space and they get into it and they breathe into it. And there's that moment of like complete relaxation that a cat, for example, can get into, or even a little dog. And they, of course, have moments of noticing in their worlds that you can attach to as well, because like a cat, for example, we're watching, through the window at a bird or watching something, and you can just go there with them and just be silent. I think the secret here, and the reason for this whole video, I guess, is to remind us that in the small things we can find a balance, and we can find a softening of the harshness of the world around us. The big picture of life can be overwhelming. It can be scary, and it can be threatening to our peace of mind. But I think if we can just appreciate the art of noticing, and I'm just going to go through like a list of things that I sat down and wrote that remind me of peacefulness, things that we can notice in our everyday life. And I may have mentioned some already, but here's my little list. The first thing, the warmth of morning sunlight. How it touches your skin, how it just illuminates your inner soul. The smell of fresh coffee or tea. I've got my cup of tea here. Yeah, the smell of tea is almost the first thing I do. Maybe for you too, a cup of coffee or tea. The feel of fresh fabrics. Soft fabrics. I'm totally tactile with clothing. With when I go out, like if I'm at a market, I like to pick up things and touch them. The feel of things, the feel of a soft fabric. The rhythm of rain I mentioned. The vibrancy of color in nature. The melody, as I mentioned, of everyday sounds. The taste of a favorite treat. Where's my salted caramel? That's my favorite taste. The kindness in a smile. Just. It's free. Being kind, being nice, no charge. Just do it. Give it away. Give it away everywhere. Give it away free. The beauty of reflection. Just watching a shadow on the wall, or an animal sleeping, or a sparkle in someone's eyes. Noticing that they're shining from the inside out. The comfort of stillness. I hope it's been helpful. I hope that these have given you some ideas for the day. Go out into the world and practice the art of noticing. And maybe share with us in the comments some of the things that you've noticed that really took you to a place of quiet and peace and joy. And we can talk a bit more about, just how we apply that to our everyday life, especially in the workplace or out in the world, how to take a very chaotic situation and bring it together with noticing one simple aspect of that engagement and making that the whole thing, making that the foundation for a feeling of peace and happiness. Why not? Let's try everything. But I hope that you're well. Take care, everybody. Come join us on our other channels. We're on Facebook, Twitter. Not Twitter. What am I saying? Facebook. Yeah, Instagram, TikTok, website. Here, well, I think we are on Twitter actually too, but we don't post there much anymore. But it's like so many places that you'll find 60andMe. Come join us. And also, come join us on our Patreon group. We have a supporters group. As you know, we don't charge anything for our content. It's all free. And so we make our income from ads and from the Patreon supporters group, which is $3 a month, where you can come join us for, live shows and chats and get to know each other in the real world. It's a It's the closest thing that we have to a kind of local chapter or community of 60andMe. If you live in Arizona, we've got lots of women in Arizona, and then of course in Seattle and the Northwest. We've also got people in France and in Holland that come visit us frequently, and we've been on trips together. We, just are there to support one another through the tough times. You know those things. But anyway, guys, hope that you're well. Lots and lots of love from me. Please leave your comments as to things that you've noticed most this today, that you felt warmed your heart. Please share. Take care, everybody. Lots and lots of love. Bye-bye for now.